and welcome once again to Arrow Discussions. I'm Captain Logan.
And I'm Eric.
And today we're talking about the latest episode, Keep Your Enemies Closer. Lots more flashback stuff on the boat, and this time kind of a big Diggle-centered episode. How'd you feel about this one, Eric?
Well, right off the bat, I kind of wish when we do these, episode titles, they're just, parts of sayings. I kind of wish the episode right before this was Keep Your Friends Close.
Oh, yeah.
Keep Your Enemies Closer just feels like... I was like, but that's not the whole saying. Like, it feels weird to me. I don't know if that's even okay. Like, it feels weird.
That's fair. I get that.
But with the episode in general, I thought this was one of the strongest ones of the season thus far.
Oh, really? Okay.
I think that there's some problems, and I'll get to that. But I think this is a really strong episode.
I thought that this gave us a lot more, important stuff for things to come. I've been saying that in nearly every episode. I mean, there's not in my opinion, there's not a dud throwaway episode this season yet. I mean, everything is progressing the narrative and giving us more stuff that we need. The big thing I really latched on here that I appreciated that we got already was what exactly Ivo is doing.
Yeah.
And the fact that that seems to be what's going to finally propel us from the more grounded, Nolan-ish kind of DC universe to something a little more heightened.
Well, and I'm really glad that we finally got a Diggle episode. Is this episode 6 or episode 5?
I think we're up to 6.
Okay, I think this is 6 as well. I felt like Diggle's kind of been there for the past couple episodes. Like, he's always good, but I kind of feel like he just kind of stands in the background and goes, Oliver, I'm the voice of reason. And
you're right. Not since last season has he had anything that really, did anything for his character.
Yeah, so I was really excited. And the thing that surprised me was I was kind of annoyed when this episode started up, and I was like, okay, you finally moved away from the League of Shadows stuff. Now we're going to get an episode all about this crazy Brother Blood stuff, right? And then it wasn't, and I was kind of bummed. But then I really dug this episode, so it all works out in the end.
What did you dig most about it? I really loved that we went to Russia, that we got outside of Starling City.
Oh, and they went to a Russian prison. I kept waiting for Whiplash to show up, and it was going to be so much fun. And then it never happened. But yeah, no, it was really cool to get a different location. We haven't really gotten that this season. Let's see. I'm looking at my notes here.
Everything looked really great. I mean, that was one of the things that I thought was...
It's probably the most Russian that Canada's looked in a long time.
That was the thing I was most impressed with, was that, they went to Russia and you kind of felt like you were in Russia. I mean, obviously they didn't go to a whole lot of places, but, I thought it worked pretty well. Man, these people making the show sure have to do prisons a lot.
Yeah, but this prison was cool. Like not I want to go there cool.
This is a cool prison, let's go there.
But like I've never seen like a prison where like they've just got like a freezer room and that like isolation is arbitrary. Like, it's not like you're in there for 2 days. It's like you're in here for 6 hours. Why? 7 hours.
7 hours. Say something else. Ask for a Pop-Tart. Go.
It's like that scene in what's that movie with the kids in detention? The Breakfast Club. Where he's like, you want another detention? No, that's another.
Well, you asked me a question. That's another one. Wow, I better just keep my mouth shut. I'm not talking right now.
One?
Oh, man, you not talking. That's another one.
Don't you ignore me, boy.
I really like Oliver's Russian friend.
Yeah, they seem to do really good with these like one-off, minor, eccentric, fun characters.
Well, keep in mind he's not one-off. We saw him last season.
Oh, that's right. I actually have that written down in my notes. Was that we get the last time on Arrow and there's stuff from season 1 that ties into the Russian stuff.
What was great about that was that I always assumed that he was pretending to be like in the mafia or something. at some point, and that's why he was friends with this guy. But like, if he ever found out who he really was, he'd kill him or something. And because in that episode, we don't really know what their
Well,
relationship
I
is
always
and
assumed that
why they
he
know each
had
other.
some kind of actual tie because that happened sometime in the 5 years because he's got the tattoo and stuff. But I,
But like I said, I thought he was just like pretending to be part of something or whatever. But this whole idea of like they were in prison together and he knows exactly who he is. That's fantastic.
yeah.
I was really excited about that. And how cool was the line where they're in the flashback where they're in the boat and he says that he's reminded of the Russian Gulag
Oh, yeah.
being in the boat, and then we're doing a Russian Gulag episode. I thought that was fantastic. Hey, let me ask you this though: how are you feeling about the fact that because this isn't bothering me, and I feel like maybe it ought to, but I was just wondering if you picked up on this that especially the last 3 or 4 episodes, it seems like all of the stuff going on in the flashbacks keeps informing the present day stuff, but not just thematically,
Yeah, it's
like
much
story.
more what we
Seems a
thought it
little
was going to be in season one.
but it seems a little bit convenient
Um,
because we have two linear stories going side by side that keep calling to each other and using the same characters.
well, I think it'll depend on if it's consistent through the entire season and if it's from this point forward, that's how the show operates. Because if we get like 3 seasons in, like at some point, Oliver has to sit down and go, okay, so my first year on the island, I dealt with this stuff. My second year on the island, I dealt with this stuff. Third year, I dealt with this stuff. All right, this is what's coming for me next. Gotcha. Check. I know what to
Yeah,
be ready
good
for.
point. I mean, I think it's really clever how they're putting it together. So I mean,
Well,
I guess I'm
I think the main thing that makes it work is it's
yeah.
never the main thrust of the flashbacks. They're putting in these things, but like Sarah isn't the main plot of the flashbacks. It's Ivo. It's so it's not what I mean?
Well, yeah, and you're right. And part of it too is we're seeing the introduction to those things, but you also always get the sense that they're going to pop in again later, and so they're like consistently important
Right.
to him. So I don't know. I mean, I guess I'm praising it and criticizing it at the same time. Because the thing I'm impressed with is that, like, I mean, I'm noticing it, and I feel like I should be saying, "Oh man, that's really convenient." But like, it seems very clever the way they're putting it together.
Yeah,
Also,
it doesn't feel convenient the way that they're doing it. I like I don't roll my eyes. Um,
yeah. Well, they keep surprising me with it. I was like, "Oh, that's where the Russian guy came from."
yeah. Well, and I mean, it helps that that's something that was set up in the first season. So it doesn't feel as arbitrary. It's not like Oliver just went to a random person and then said random person is in this flashback.
Okay, so this is something I've been fixated on for a long time because we talked about this last time where we saw this one time at the end of an episode. I thought it was really important. It's never brought up again. Is Waller,
I've got that written down.
is she the woman in the red boots or is she a woman in some red
I
boots?
think she is because remember I said I thought that we found out who she was at like Comic-Con and I was kind of bummed by it.
Yeah.
I think it was Waller and I was kind of like, oh well, that's fine.
Is this because I'm forgetting now? I'm sorry. Did we not already see her before?
I don't think we have because I have written down that I'm kind of annoyed that she's the New 52 skinny Amanda Waller,
Yeah.
but I don't think we've seen her before.
Okay, I don't know why I thought we saw her earlier in the season. Somebody correct me on this because I just can't. I thought we saw her once because I was gonna say if we had, it's a little bit weird that like there's that big reveal with the boots, and I'm like, why didn't we do that the first time? But maybe this is the. Why can't I remember if we
Maybe
saw
she's
this?
really forgettable, and like two
Maybe.
episodes from now, we're gonna be like, "Have we had Amanda Waller before?" I feel like.
Amanda. Well, no,
Why
she
did they
seems pretty.
focus on her
No.
shoes when she walked in?
I do really like the reveal that Amanda Waller knows that Oliver's Green Arrow.
Yes.
Because if she is the woman in the red boots, we already saw her on the island or somewhere around the island, in the
Yeah,
flashback.
she's
So
involved with the island.
she's going to be involved in that. My question is this yet a total third entity, or does she have something to do with League of
I'm
Shadows?
telling you, I don't think
I mean,
League of Shadows has anything to do with the island. You keep saying it. I don't think League of Shadows has anything to do with the island.
you don't think it has anything to do with the island at all
I
whatsoever?
don't think it has anything to do with the island whatsoever.
Okay, I still think that Ivo is working with or for the League.
I don't think because Sarah made that big deal out of after you saw me, I fell with bad people.
Yeah,
It
no,
doesn't.
I get that. But that doesn't mean anything because Oliver could leave that boat. I guess we should say this for predictions, but whatever.
Yeah,
Oliver could leave that boat and not know where it went.
that's true, but
And I think that's really likely.
it seems unlikely that she would join the League of Shadows and then
Assassins.
the League of Assassins, shadowy assassins, and Oliver would be fighting them on the island, and he wouldn't know. Like that feels like that would. I don't know. I don't think it has anything to do with League of Assassins.
Well, I guess we'll find out. What other notes did you have? What else did you want to
I
bring?
have the way that Oliver gave Roy to contact him is dumb, and you were wrong.
Yep, I was wrong.
He
Well, I
just
guess I was
sticks it in
wrong.
the wall, and occasionally Ollie checks it.
Occasionally, he just walks over and checks it. Okay, look, we don't see it flash or anything. That doesn't mean that it's not somehow an electronic arrow. But I think you're probably right. Yeah, that is because we know he has trick arrows, and we know that he has put tracking devices and things on arrows before,
Yeah.
right? Am I right about this?
Yes.
So all I'm saying is, in my defense, I had every reason to assume that it was not that silly.
I love the idea that he's like, oh, I just found out something really important. I need him to come by, and he just like keeps like
Yeah,
waiting for him.
is because that would make Oliver Queen. Well, first of all, that kind of thing would explain why Oliver Queen is never at any meeting ever. Because he has to constantly. Because I mean, like what other things has he set up where he has to go walk over somewhere and see if something's there? Man, he's like the manager or the owner of like a small retail establishment where like he leaves work and then he goes has dinner and then he has to drive by his store to check and make sure that it's still locked. Like he has to just like keep going places and checking things. It's so weird. Anyway, I hope that somehow or rather I'm still right about that. Okay, that was amusing, so I'll give you an amusing note, Eric. Felicity tells Isabel they're going to Tahiti, and I was really ready for somebody to say it's a magical place.
I didn't catch her say Tahiti, but
These are two. There are two really weird things that connect to Shield this week. Have you watched Agents of Shield this week?
I have not seen Agents of Shield this week. The fifth episode really was bad, and so I
Okay,
watched the second one.
I think you'll like this one a lot. It made me a lot more okay with that episode. But
Okay.
anyway, but what I was gonna say is, they also go to Russia. It's like yeah,
Do they meet Whiplash?
it's like Russian Terrorist Week. What's
Do
that?
they meet Whiplash?
No, no,
Or-
they also
oh well,
don't.
see, I'm less excited. Um,
But anyway, yeah, it's a lot, and it's funny too because I'm sorry everybody. I said this in Shield discussions if you listen to that, but Eric hasn't heard me say this yet. Eric, there's this informant that Ward's supposed to know, and they go find him, and then or they think that they found him, but then it's like, oh no, he's dead, and then like immediately he doesn't have an informant anymore. So it's like the exact opposite of this episode. It's fantastic. Anyway,
that
I
sounds
just
like
had
a
to bring
Whedon
up
thing.
Tahiti because I think that's really funny. Okay, how do you feel about the Isabel love affair, or not love affair, but
All right,
affair?
here's the thing. They're two consenting adults. They just had a thing. It's fine. Television always treats that far more detrimentally than real life does. My main concern is all about Felicity.
Yeah.
I really want Felicity to be annoyed because she doesn't like Isabel because Isabel is an ice queen and kind of a jerk. Um,
I think that is the reason she's annoyed.
okay, I really don't want it to be that she's jealous.
I'm okay with it being both.
As long as it
So,
doesn't lead to a love triangle, because I still don't want the two of them together. So
and I still think that it's both inevitable and could potentially be sort of
I
interesting, but I
think
also
it could be a show ruining move.
yeah, I okay, I know, I get that, and also we both know that if they get together, they won't wind up together. But this is television, and this is probably going to be a somewhat long running show, so you expect that he's going to be with various women throughout its run.
And he's going to
The
love all of them equally.
the thing we have to keep in mind is that from the beginning, she's been really into him.
Yeah.
And at least my point is, at least they're consistent with it. She has every reason to still like him.
I know. I don't want it to. I don't know. You know what I mean? I don't want it to
But
be a stupid love triangle thing.
no, I get that. I don't. Hey, you know me. I don't like love triangles very often. But the thing is,
Very
and honestly,
often.
like,
Sometimes you
no,
come home and you go, Sarah, I think we need a love triangle. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go hit on a different girl.
uh,
Because
I,
today's a love
I
triangle day.
no, I say that because you can make anything work. You just have to make it work.
Yeah.
So I don't like to exclude anything. I have seen the love triangle in fiction
Bendis has
done well,
done stuff like that that works. Yeah, I know what you're saying.
but Peter David is one of the best writers of love triangles.
Well, he writes love
Um,
octagons.
but the point I'm trying to make, if I may make it, is that I like how classy they play it in this. It hasn't led to love triangle yet. I like that she just says you deserve better, and yeah, she might mean herself, but you could read it either way.
Okay, my bigger thing is I don't know, like I don't want 2 episodes of just them being catty. I don't know. I don't want that to become the focus of the show.
Yeah, that's fair. I understand that, but I'm okay with the affair itself because with especially with the episode title "Keep Your Enemies Closer." I think that we're looking at an episode that's about both friendship and pretending that you have one when you're actually dealing with enemies, and that these are two people that are playing each other. And I think the episode handles that pretty well.
I I,
Uh,
I have a problem with her being there because she shows up when Ollie's about to leave, and
yeah.
she's like, oh, you were just gonna leave your partner? I thought we were partners. And then she gets there and she has no idea why they're there. For all she knew, this could have been like a personal thing. Like she has no idea why Oliver's there. Oh,
Yeah, and they could have made that a lot more interesting because obviously, I mean,
If
they
she
played it
if
up.
she should have had suspicions that Oliver was doing something underhanded.
Yeah, although her thinking that he's getting away to be with Felicity makes perfect sense.
But then why would she come? You see what I mean? Like there's a point where right
Yeah, you're right. I mean, why would she care that much about catching him in the
well
act?
and right there when they're about to sleep together, she says he says I have to be somewhere soon. She goes, I'll be quick. First of all, that statement of I have to be somewhere soon. I would think that they would just like, okay, well, we'll do this later or not at all, and that's it. But she has no idea why he's there, what he's doing. It feels
That's
really weird.
Yeah, I get that, but let me give you a potential other read on it, which might be, and I don't know if I'm reading too far into this, but I think maybe the idea is that she went there to do precisely what she did, which is that she wants to get him in a place where it's easier to manipulate him.
If she does think that Oliver
I
and
think she
Felicity
sees
are
this as I think she sees this as an opportunity to change their relationship.
well, and if she thinks that Oliver and Felicity are a couple, or at least a thing, or slowly moving towards each other, I guess this could make sense in that she, wants to manipulate Oliver to be in a bad place, presumably so that at the end she will take control of the company.
Yeah, and she has that line about how hard it is to be a woman in business, and she's using her assets. I mean, think about it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I guess it makes
So,
sense. It just, I don't. It felt
so
weird.
that's there, and also when Oliver swears up and down that he and Felicity aren't a thing, that there's nothing going on there, that gives her the in.
Right.
That makes it a lot easier for her to jump in and do that. And they have a moment where you can really see some similarities between them, and they're both kind of vulnerable together for a minute, which gives each of them a chance to psychologically take advantage of the other.
I'm wondering if she doesn't know that he's the Arrow, and that this is going to be something that we're going to find out later. Is that she's doing something in Russia while they're doing something in Russia that's against his
That's great.
interests.
Yeah, it's possible. I mean, it would be, or that she did something in Russia that had everything to do with this company that was against his interests somehow. I
Right.
like, I don't know. I don't know that I mean, maybe she knows that. Who knows? But I don't know. I still I get the sense that she really is just a business person. But then again, this show is all about duplicity, and there's somebody, somebody is always doing something you don't think they're doing. So, I just kind of hope that every single character in this season isn't like suddenly some giant supervillain.
I don't think she's a giant supervillain. I think she might be working for someone. Um,
Okay. Well, what other notes have we
um,
got?
I think there might have been another. You know how like we every episode we have like this Metamorpho news update.
Yes.
I think we got another one, but we just hear it as Oliver walks in. Felicity's watching it, and I wrote
Yeah.
it down. It says, "People understand the danger of this kind of technology. It could lead to a cataclysmic event," and that's all we
Right.
hear from the news. And then
Yep.
Felicity turns around and says something to Oliver. So I'm assuming that that's more metamorphochemical stuff. Also, I rewatched the first episode, and metamorphochemicals is or it's not the first episode. Metamorphochemicals is where somebody's hiding out. I'm trying to remember who it is. But their actual facility was used as the location for someone in this
It
season.
wasn't. It wasn't. Oh, in this season? Oh yeah, yeah. No,
It's
no. I think we
Dollmaker.
talked. Yeah, I think we talked about that
Oh,
already.
okay, okay. I'm trying to keep track of all the Metamorpho stuff. I'm trying to piece together and figure out what it's leading to.
Yeah, because they're building up to all that, and is that the thing where they're talking about Star Labs,
Uh
or is that something else? Because I think there's been something mentioned a couple of
I
times
think they have
that
mentioned Star Labs, but I don't think that's the Metamorpho chemicals thing. Like
okay,
I
yeah,
think maybe last episode there was a Star Labs protest or something.
there's a lot of stuff in the
Yeah,
background
on
that's
like the news, just like before they flip the channel or something.
well, and what I think is kind of neat is that this episode being all about Diggle and his mission to go get Lila, um, makes Oliver and everybody. I keep wanting to say Oliver and Company. I couldn't do it. Makes Oliver and Company completely distracted from anything else that might be going on. And I wouldn't be surprised if we didn't get back, next episode. And here's this big thing you guys missed out on.
Right. Uh,
Well, I guess we're already back in the city, but you know what I mean. That like something's been building, and
right.
if you've been, you would have known about it.
Do you want to talk about the stuff with Thea?
Um, Besides the fact that it was just sort of
It
pointless.
was sort of pointless, except I I wish it had actually gone on longer
Yeah,
because I it makes perfect sense from the lawyer's perspective.
yeah, it does.
And like that was the thing that I really liked about it. It made complete sense. And then when I thought about it, because I was like, well, why wouldn't they just say that was a mistake? And I'm like, I can immediately see like a media retort of, yeah, it seems like rich people getting a lot of mistakes with the law. Like she's kind of in a place where she can't like stand up for him. And I really dug that, and then it went nowhere. And I didn't like how she broke up with him, but
I didn't like that either. It seemed like typical drama, especially because you knew that it wasn't going to last. But I did appreciate the fact that they at least resolved it by the end, so that they didn't have to stretch that over episodes.
yeah,
'Cause I thought they
I'm kind
did
of
that.
mixed on. Like it's 6 of one, half dozen of
Yeah,
another. I kind of
yeah,
wanted
it's not
more of it. I'm glad
terrible.
it's not stretched over multiple episodes. I don't know.
But man, I'm in a place now, and I know we said this last time, but I feel the need to reiterate it. I like Moira every time she's on screen
I
now.
know she's so good.
She's so good. Holy crap, we were totally wrong about her.
Yeah, yeah.
And maybe it's a less is more thing. Like maybe now that we're only seeing her a few minutes every time she's on screen,
Right. Well, and I think
or I don't know, but
and I think
but
maybe it helps that I'm pretty sure she's gonna die. So I I think this is just
oh, interesting.
yeah. I kind of get this feeling like kind of with each episode that she's setting things right because she knows she's not gonna make it. So she's trying to be the best mother she can in the last couple of months of her life.
It's a good point. Well, I just like seeing her with dignity, and again, I like the fact that she turned out to be kind of a complicated character.
Yeah, yeah. No, I'm really digging her.
So what do you think about the reveal at the end with Deadshot that it turns out that Diggle's brother was actually a hit, and that Diggle can't completely hate him like he did because it was a job.
I'm really interested to see what. Diggle's brother was into.
Yeah.
Why there was a hit on him. And I'm hoping that
Do you think it's connected to anything in Oliver's past?
I don't know. I hope not, because what I'm hoping for is we the Diggle's whole story has been getting Deadshot, and I feel
Yeah.
like you can only play that out so long, and they realize that. So I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
giving
It's
him
great.
somewhere else to go, I like that he has his own story, that he's on his own path. I really hope it's not super connected to Oliver in the same way
Me
that it
too.
wasn't in the first season.
I agree with you because I don't need the entire world to revolve around this character.
Yes, exactly.
And it's probably best that it doesn't. I mean, I like that Oliver is mixed up in a whole bunch of other things that are all kind of intertwined here and there, but like the world doesn't revolve around him
Right.
the way it sometimes seems to with other superheroes.
Um, I really like Deadshot this episode. I thought this guy has really started coming into his own.
I also too I think
I think this is the best he's done with the character thus far.
he's drifting in and out of an accent
Oh, I didn't notice that.
a little bit. I thought.
I think he's getting a better. I don't know if it's him or the writers, but like all of that stuff from like episode one with like the tattoos and like the weird, like all of that seems to be gone. And he seems to much more becoming the Deadshot that we know from the comics.
Straight up
He's
Deadshot. Yeah.
yeah, I've got a note here that's still no mustache, still disappointed. Um, I want him to have a mustache, and he doesn't. But other than the mustache, he's becoming more and more Deadshot, and I'm digging that. And I really like them working together. I kind of wish that was more of the episode.
Yeah, I thought it was a little. There were a couple of things with the whole Russian prison that I thought were pretty convenient. One of them was the fact that that a guard tries to put on the coat just as it explodes because we know it's on a timer.
Right.
Because
It was a nice coat.
Diggle says it was a nice coat. Because Diggle says that it depends on what time it is. And then we cut to this guard putting it on. Hey, what do you think? Does this look good on me? Boom! I that was the sort of convenience that I find hilarious. The other one is I get that Floyd is in the prison and Diggle was going to find him eventually, and for a big reveal right before commercial, it looked good, it was nice, but like I don't know, he just happened to get put in the freezer when Floyd was already there,
I assume
so
that
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 they
was
could be
somewhat intentional because
that. Yeah, see, I just wondered if
because
it
Amanda
wasn't.
Waller knows who he is and knows about Ollie, and I assume that that was all intentional.
Oh, so you think Amanda Waller was like helping him along a little bit?
Especially since Deadshot's probably on the Suicide Squad or is being looked at for the Suicide Squad.
Oh, see, I'm not even thinking of that. I have a really hard time thinking about comic book stuff sometimes watching the show, even though there's so much comic
Well,
stuff in
Amanda
it.
Waller's kind of heads up the Suicide Squad, so
No, I knew that, but I forgot about Deadshot being there because I just don't. That's not a
oh,
character I know
he's
very
the
much.
Suicide Squad member.
Yeah, I forgot. I don't know Deadshot at all.
Oh man, that they just re-released his four-issue mini written by John Ostrander from the '80s. You should totally pick it up. It's great stuff.
Oh, okay, cool. I'll do that. Yeah, I know. You know Suicide Squad. It's just not something I've
I
ever
love
looked.
Deadshot. He's one of my favorites. Let's see, what else do I have written down? Um, I think it's really weird that when Diggle talks about his relationship. First of all, he was married. Didn't know that. Um,
Yeah, that was a
but he
great.
says we couldn't stay married without fighting a war. And then
Yeah,
he says, so she went and did this military thing, and I went and did this military thing. And I was like, so you were still fighting a war. Why didn't you stay together? And you could kind of stretch it so that he's still fighting a war in Starling City, and she's still fighting a war because she's on the CIA. Why aren't they still together?
the yeah, you're right. We don't have enough about them yet, and I imagine that that's going to play out.
I hope so. I hope we learn more about them because it
I
seems
imagine they will.
weird.
I imagine that they will continue to build that. What I gathered from that when it was first mentioned, and I might be totally off base because you're right, we don't have enough information yet to make a call. Is I imagine that the idea was that they get along great when they're working together, but they don't know how to live together.
Okay, that makes more sense.
and that's a different. And what they do for work is they go fight wars. So I mean, like they became attracted to each other doing a job, and fighting separate things, going and doing it wouldn't matter because they still have to find a way to live
Well,
together in a
and
house.
that would make sense with the ending where they sleep together after they just went through this whole big thing to save her, and then they just kind of leave each other.
Yeah, they just go
Okay, that
do.
makes more sense. They're more like an
Yeah,
adrenaline couple.
they're an action couple. Yeah, that's exactly what I was gonna say. Let's go on to best moment, worst moment. What was your favorite moment,
Um,
Eric?
my favorite moment, I went for a pun, which is
Okay.
Deadshot and Diggle hanging out. I really liked all the Deadshot and Diggle stuff. I mean, it's kind of a played out, obvious thing of like, well, you take the guy that the guy wants to kill, and you put them together and make them work together. But
Right.
I thought I always like it. Like I really um like how angry you see Diggle is when Deadshot stabs the guard, and he's like, "Hey, I can help you get out of here, but you have to get me out." And Diggle doesn't want to do it, and I really like that.
And I don't think it would have worked as well if it hadn't played out the way it did at the end, where Diggle has a reason to not kill him now.
Right. Uh,
And I wonder if that's not going to play later on, where Diggle kind of has a little bit of his purpose taken away. I
yeah.
mean,
Or
although
maybe not so much his purpose, but his drive.
yeah, because certainly he still has someone else to go after because now he's not blaming Deadshot as much, but somebody hired him.
Right.
So so now he's going to be all trying to figure out what Hive is, which they spelled that out a little bit literally.
Super excited for Arrow version of Gizmo.
You mentioned that you picked a pun. I was just going to ask you, were they hanging out or were they cooling off? That's my favorite moment was the scene where Oliver reconnects with the Russian guy.
oh, I have a joke about that scene.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Good.
Uh, I know you're not the biggest Indiana Jones fan, but you've seen Temple of Doom, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, there's this scene early on where they give the girl in Temple of Doom this bowl of like it looks like rice, kind of, and they eat it with their fingers. And she says, "No, I'm not hungry." And Indiana Jones says, you know, eat it. This is more than these people get to eat in an entire week. You're embarrassing yourself and me." And Ollie gives Diggle that look when he says he doesn't want to drink it. He gives him this look like, Diggle, this is more than these people get to drink in a week. You're embarrassing yourself and me. And then Diggle takes it, drinks it. It just he gave him like the exact same look as Harrison Ford. I thought it
Oh.
was really funny.
Well, it's interesting that you looked at it like that because of course I wasn't thinking of that scene, so I read that scene entirely differently.
Oh, how did you read that scene?
Well, I thought it was like badge of honor thing, or rather like what am I trying to say? Like a respect thing. Like
Oh no no, I assume that it is.
we're in Russia. You drink when someone hands you a drink, especially if it's a guy that has connections and we're trying to get into this prison. Like you drink with this guy. You know what I
Yeah, oh
mean?
no, that's totally how I took the scene. I just thought it was kind of funny because it reminded me of I just love the idea that because apparently all television shows, like it's okay that all Russians are alcoholics, like that's a stereotype that's okay. I just like this idea of like because everyone's an alcoholic, there's not a lot of alcohol, so if you're offered alcohol, you take it because they don't get that much in Russia.
Above my real best moment, I could not help myself, and I wrote that my best moment was no Laurel,
Ah, yeah.
just because I mean
But there was also no Quentin, so that's a double-edged sword right there.
was there no Quentin?
I didn't see any Quentin.
I guess yeah, maybe there wasn't. Okay, what was your worst moment?
I don't really have one.
Yeah,
So I went with Thea's breaking up with Roy.
that's exactly what I wrote down too.
Oh, I forgot another joke from my notes. What's
Oh,
wrong with
okay.
Slade's face? Which, by the way, I love this face is all messed up and it looks good.
he's like Two Face now. He's like half his
That's why
face
he
is
has to wear the mask. No
yeah.
one cared about him until he wore the mask.
Yeah, until he put on the mask. So I think we touched on themes and stuff. It's kind of the big emotional stuff. Friendship, what you do for friendship, allying with enemies to get what you want.
Hmm.
That's the big stuff. Did you write down anything else?
No, that's kind of what I had. Rivals
Uh,
coming together to overcome greater odds.
yeah, not really any big guest stars that we hadn't already had before.
No.
Everybody I think that was worth mentioning was recurring that we've seen before. Did you have a favorite line? I didn't write anything down.
I have one funny one and one serious one.
Oh,
But I
okay, go
could
ahead.
have two funny ones and one serious one.
I dropped the ball on this one. I did not think that this was real quote worthy.
Um,
Good episode. I just didn't find it quote
there's
worthy.
there's there's a line that Felicity has when Diggle says that he was married, and she says, "Explain that sentence." I love
Yeah,
the simplicity of "explain that sentence." Um,
yeah, I like that too.
my second one that could be my second funny one is I actually really like Isabel's line about "Do I look like someone that needs to cuddle?" Um, but my serious line is that's the thing about honor is you can't turn it on and off, which is what Deadshot says when Diggle lets him go, because Diggle doesn't
Yeah.
want to let him go. He's like, you are a good guy. You can't undo that. You're gonna let me go. And I thought he delivered it really well. He reminds me of, I don't know if it's just the way he looks or if it's kind of how he's playing it. He reminds me of future Peter from Heroes.
Oh, you know what? That's a really good call.
Um,
Yeah, you're absolutely right about that.
yeah.
Future Peter. That show. Well, let's go into comic book references. Obviously, the big ones are Argus and Hive. Really, we just name drop two big DC organizations right on top of us like that. And surely Argus doesn't stand for what it does in the comics.
I'm thinking that we thought this show was a Batman show. It's becoming a Teen Titans show.
Yeah,
We've got
it
Deadshot, or not Deadshot. We've got Deathstroke, Hive, Brother Blood, Roy. Like it's becoming a Teen Titans show.
but we also have Ra's al Ghul, so it's still a Batman show.
And we do have
I
evil
mean,
Batman in
let's
season one.
let's never stray too far away from that.
There is another comic book reference that someone mentioned in the comments that we had not picked up on all of this time.
Okay, what is that?
Apparently, it's been there since episode one of season one, or of season
Oh,
of season two.
oh, well, I was gonna be like, wow, there goes our credibility. What was it?
Moira's lawyer is Jean Loring, who is the wife of the Atom.
Wow, I would have never picked up on that.
Okay, so that means that at some point in this series, she's going to steal his shrinking device and start killing everyone's loved ones. So get excited for that.
Watch out for that. Well, just looking at the actress, I could see her as a supervillain.
Yeah, I'm kind of wondering if
If they'll go there,
I don't know if they'll go there.
there's some. Well, probably not exactly there, but
Uh,
just I just mean in a like homicidal.
I'm wondering if maybe she's somewhat of a bad guy. But
Wow.
yeah, somebody mentioned it, and we haven't mentioned it yet, so I wanted to mention the lawyer is Jean Loring, who is uh, uh, the Adams wife.
They keep getting them past us, man. Like
Well, I'm not
every
like an Adam fan, and like I like Identity Crisis, but it's not like my Bible. So
I like Identity Crisis a lot.
yeah, I don't read it so often. Like I know what the Adams wife's name is. She's just
No,
wife.
me neither. That's no, that's true.
Um, so yeah, I saw someone mention that, so I figured I'd bring it up. Oh, it's Ray
Most of
Palmer.
the other
I kept trying to
references,
remember what the Adam's name was. I kept saying the Adam. It's Ray Palmer.
most of the other references were things that have popped in before we talked
Yeah,
about
like the maybe Metamorpho chemicals. And...
Metamorpho and that stuff. Yeah. I think we've done a lot of predictions all the way through this. Anything we didn't bring up?
Um, I want to predict the next episode is a Brother Blood episode, just because I want a Brother Blood episode. But I guess we'll wait and see.
Yeah. I actually accidentally looked ahead and saw what the next title was, but I won't bring it up in case no one wants to know. But you and I can talk about it afterwards.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I kind of talked about all my predictions already. I do have a hard time believing that with Hive and Argus both brought up in the same episode that they're not somehow connected.
I what is Argus? You keep saying Argus. What is Argus?
Argus is the Oh, see, I wrote it down. Now I can't remember. Yeah, I'm trying to remember which is which. One uh who Ivo's working for, and the other one
No, no,
is
no. What is Argus in the comics?
oh, in the comics. I'm sorry. It has something to do with aliens,
Oh,
and that's why I was like, "There's no way that it stands for the same thing."
oh. I just real quick looked it up.
Yeah,
It's associated with the Flash, so maybe that's setting up Flash stuff.
maybe so. I wouldn't be surprised. Because a lot of people have been talking about the Star Lab stuff and other things setting up Flash. So I bet that. But yeah, um, what does that stand for? I looked this up earlier, but I forgot to write it down.
There's a
What?
cover for a comic called Argus. It just says "Eyes of Justice."
Of justice. You cannot lead
Oh, oh,
these
oh,
men.
oh, that was a person. That's not Argus, the organization. There's an organization in DC Universe called Apes, All Purpose Enforcement Squad.
Really?
Yes. Um, okay, Argus is Advanced Research Group Uniting Superhumans. That's not that far out there.
Superhumans. Okay. Oh, you know what? I saw. I guess I saw another uh, acronym somewhere else that said that it was something else that was like alien or extraterrestrial or something. So weird. Okay. Well, the thing you found is probably what it really is.
It says Argus makes an appearance in the episode Home Invasion. So Argus has been
Oh,
referenced previously,
we've already seen
and
this.
we know what
Wow.
it stands for too.
How badly should we go back and just binge watch all of
Yeah,
this?
Advanced Research Group United Support is what it stands for. In the one of the members is Layla Michaels,
Really?
and apparently it's revealed in this episode, and we missed it, that Amanda Waller is the head of Argus.
Yeah. That's no. I know. I didn't miss that. We're that's. That's what I couldn't remember was where it was. Yeah. That's the big organization that she's running. That's mentioned right at the beginning.
Hey, Diggle's ex-wife, Layla,
Yeah.
she's a comic book character. She is
Well,
a
what
character
what is she?
named Harbinger.
I don't even know what that is.
It's a DC superhero created in the early 1980s. Created by Marv Wolfman and George Perez and Teen Titans.
See, it's still more Teen
It's
Titans
still more
stuff.
Teen Titans. Uh,
Well, let's go ahead and go on a trivia, shall we?
are you sure?
What
Because
was your?
there could be like 13 other references we haven't caught yet.
Yeah, probably so. Let's go ahead and move on.
Okay.
What was your trivia question from last
My
week?
trivia
And
question, I don't think anybody got it. I didn't check back recently, so I'm not sure if anybody got it. But based on pre-New 52 continuity, according to Green Arrow Year One, the first trick arrow that Oliver used is a knockout arrow, which is really just an arrow with the arrow head taken off. Which I don't actually think makes any sense, but whatever. That's what it is. I still think it would pierce through people's skin and hurt them, but apparently, according to Green Arrow Year One, if you just take the arrowhead off, you can shoot as many people as you want with arrows, and they'll just get hurt.
well, my question from last time was what one-off character, at least so far, this season in the comics actually works for the League of Assassins, and that's Bronze Tiger.
Oh, okay. That's not who I thought you were going with.
Who did you think I was going with?
I thought you were going with Sin.
She's not one-off.
Oh, good point.
She's been in multiple episodes. Okay, what is your trivia question for this
My
week?
trivia question for this week is: what color are Oliver Queen's eyes in the comics, not the TV show?
Right, because it's not necessarily the same thing.
Yeah.
My question this time, of course, from the episode is: what word does Oliver's? We keep calling him Oliver's Russian friend. I just don't want to mess up the pronunciation, so that's why I'm not saying it. What word does Oliver's Russian friend say there is no word for in Russian? There's this great moment where he says, "We don't have a word for that."
Yeah, yeah. No, no, I know what
What
you're
is it?
talking about. I can't answer. Don't ask me. It seemed like you were waiting for me to say it, and I'm like, I
No,
can't. I
I
can't.
wasn't. I was just making sure everybody understands. That's all. Anyway, well, thanks everybody for listening to Air Discussions, and we'll be with you again next week. Like I said, I had a little bit of a peek ahead at next week's title, and I'm really kind of super excited to see what they do with
I
it.
can't.
So,
I can't
um,
find the episode listings on Wikipedia.
Well, I'll tell you about it in
Okay.
just a minute.
Okay.
Anyway, thanks everybody for listening. I'm Captain
And I'm
Logan.
Ray.
We'll see you later.